Welcome back. I have to admit, I just recorded that 1 second ago. And while I was drawing out the back, my voice cracked. And so I was like, let me try this again. Now, sometimes I have to tell you the behind the scenes just to keep it fun, keep it light. Today, this episode is going to be for the person who feels overwhelmed currently or has felt overwhelmed and wants to be better prepared next time it hits. But before we dive into that, I want to share a testimonial, just a short snippet that I received recently from a client in my group coaching program. She said, "You're very warm and welcoming. You don't make me feel beat up. You have a way that feels very inviting for me to open up. I came from a home that was very critical and openness was hard for me. Feeling this safe is novel to me. Thank you." If you resonate with growing up in a super critical home and you feel like that has been your experience for most of your life, or that you still feel susceptible to being criticized, or you still feel like it, hits you harder than you want to, I encourage you to come into this community so that you can feel that safe feeling. Now, let's go ahead and hop into overwhelm. This is the type of overwhelm where even small tasks feel huge. And for some of you listening, that will probably be your experience or has been your experience lately. And others, you're like, well, no, it's really for the bigger ones. And I want you to know that all of the recommendations I'm going to give are for you, no matter how small or how big the tasks are. So when you think of your to-do list, if you feel like you freeze and then do nothing, or making a decision kind of spins you out, or your to-do list just like stares at you like a personal attack or something, if you're a high functioning woman navigating anxiety or panic, this probably isn't occasional. It may be often. And today I want to talk about what's really going on beneath the overwhelm and what you can do to shift out of it, because every human has felt overwhelmed. I have felt overwhelmed recently. So I feel you. I know you. I am you. I get you. Now, let's start with this truth. I always come back to this truth. You are not broken. Your nervous system may be over capacity. And that may be what's going on for you right now. And overwhelm isn't a personality flaw. It's, you may be tempted like, oh, I just get overwhelmed more easily. No, it's a signal. It's a signal from your body, and it's your nervous system saying, I don't feel okay holding all of this right now. I don't feel okay holding this much right now. And one thing is, we can expand our capacity to hold things. I can hold more than I could when I first started my business. I can hold space for more people at one time and all of that. So just know there's no wrong place to start. And just because you feel like maybe I can't hold as much as I want to, doesn't mean that will be your capacity forever. You can expand your boundaries. Instead of listening to that signal, most women I work with tend to push harder. And maybe they grit their teeth just to get through it. Maybe they blame themselves. And you may resonate with having done this for a long time, and then you're at the point where you feel like you cannot do that anymore. So if either one of these sound familiar, I want you to know that this has nothing to do with you not being good enough or efficient enough or just taking too much time to do things. Those thoughts just add more stress to your system that's already maxed out. What really causes overwhelm? What is it? I want to talk about just 3 sneaky patterns. This isn't a fully comprehensive everything under the sun that causes overwhelm, but 3 sneaky patterns that I see my clients dealing with, and you may see yourself in these too. First, you're expecting too much in too small of a time frame. That's pretty simple, but I really want you to ask yourself, is that true? How often is that true? If you pull out a ruler right now and imagine the whole ruler, the 12 inches is your time frame and you're trying to stuff like what would fall into 24, double that amount of time into that. Of course, there's going to be some overwhelm. Maybe there's also a need to ask for support, but your nervous system isn't failing. It's you trying to keep pace with expectations that aren't the right size. So you think you should be able to finish 7 things before lunch, maybe have a hard conversation, do the deep work, get dinner on the table, and it just doesn't fit in that amount of time. You're not behind, you're over scheduled. When your expectations are realistic, your capacity expands. You get to choose the time frame that you put on things. And you might be fighting that back and you might be thinking, well, no, Steph, there's deadlines at work and at this and at that and blah, blah, blah. I feel you. I get you. Please don't take what I'm saying as black and white. There's got to be something in your life where you choose. There's more choice than you probably are thinking right now. So ask yourself, where am I telling myself I have to get this done in this time frame? And is that true? I think back to a situation I was asked to speak at a summit. Gosh, what year was that? It might have been 2021 because it was COVID. It was a virtual event and it usually is in person. And I was so stressed out, so overwhelmed, had so many things that I needed to do, not enough time to do everything. And then you know what happened? I got sick and it was with COVID. And then everything went to the wayside until I was better. And nobody died. I survived. I eventually got everything that I needed to get done. And so sometimes we subconsciously choose to put more pressure on ourselves, to tell ourselves that, okay, we have to get it done in this amount of time frame by this date. And we're essentially choosing to stress ourselves out, to overwhelm ourselves, when in reality, you can create more space for yourself by making your expectations realistic. Second sneaky thing that happens is your to-do list is too broad to act on. I want you to go ahead and look at your to-do list right now, or if you're driving later, but you might have like fix my routine, figure out my taxes, clean house, and just like really broad things. Figure out next steps. Those are projects. Those are not tasks. When everything on your to-do list is vague and open-ended, your brain doesn't know where to start. So it's more susceptible to panicking, to shutting down, to freezing, all of these things. The fix: make your list smaller and sharper. So you would turn, for instance, fix my routine into move my alarm 15 minutes earlier. That's a task. You would turn catch up on emails into reply to 3 emails by noon. When you increase clarity, your overwhelm will shrink. Keep this at the forefront of your mind. I actually read a book, and I'm blanking on the book because it was so long ago. I feel like it was probably 2013, 2014. And that is actually where I learned that my to-do list was way too broad. Another recommendation from that book, Do Anything, that might have been the name of it. Anyways, another recommendation from that book was to categorize your to-do list based on location. If you need to be in front of a computer, or if you could do it on your phone or things like that. And I've toyed around with that idea here and there, and I never really latched onto that one, but I wanted to mention it in case it's helpful for you, because sometimes at the end of the day, decompressing, it's like, I know I could do something. I kind of want to knock out one thing from my to-do list, but I have no idea what to do right now in this 15-minute window. That may be helpful for you. Also, it's totally fine to just rest if that's what you want to do. No pressure there. The third sneaky little thing that I observe is that you are juggling everything like it is made of glass. There's a metaphor that I love. Life gives us both glass balls and plastic balls. If you drop a glass ball, it will shatter. If you drop a plastic ball, it will bounce. So I personally, intentionally drop the plastic balls probably every day, every single day. I make sure to keep the glass ones in the air and to juggle them, and I let the plastic ones fall. So many women treat everything, every task, every commitment, every responsibility like a glass ball. And if that's you, it is no wonder you feel overwhelmed. You're carrying things that don't need to be carried today. So your reminder is set some plastic balls down. This is your permission slip. Let yourself do that. The world won't fall apart, I promise. And your worth won't disappear. Your healing won't reverse. It's safe to set down the plastic balls. Okay, I want to give you a few quick tips before I end for today. What do you need to do when you feel overwhelmed? I give a lot more tips inside of Brave Academy, but I want to give you a few quick ones. One, start with your body, not your to-do list. Overwhelm is a psychological state. It's not just a mental one. So before you try to tackle the list or you try to think your way out of it, you need to calm your body in whatever way feels right for you. That might be placing a hand on your heart, taking a slow breath in and a long breath out, maybe telling yourself something, we're safe, we're allowed to slow down, it's okay to drop a plastic ball. And that reset matters. Okay. Step 2 is shrink the moment. Ask yourself, what is the next thing that I can do for myself right now? Especially for someone who identifies with feeling anxious, it's very easy for the mind to catastrophize and worry about all the things. So allow yourself to shrink the moment, to come here in this moment. What is the next best thing for me now? And it could be small, like taking a sip of water, sending one text, closing your laptop for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes, for, walking around your house for a minute or two, breathing. Shrinking the moment interrupts that overwhelm spiral rather than staying in it. You get to choose if you stay in it or not. Next step is release the freaking shame. I want you to be really honest with yourself. Are you shaming yourself? I will say that I see this all the time. The negative self-talk, the putting yourself down. It's very common. And feeling overwhelmed doesn't mean that you're weak. Everyone has felt that, literally everyone. And it means that you've been strong for too long without enough support. And it's okay to say, this is a lot for me right now. That's okay. It doesn't make me less. It makes me honest. I'm being honest with myself and I'm asking for support when I need it, when I want it. Shame just adds pressure. Compassion for yourself, seeing yourself as human, adds capacity. If you have been at your bandwidth for a while, and you'll know if that's you, if you've been kind of pushing through, or as the saying goes, white knuckling your way through anxiety, panic, emotional shutdowns, exhaustion, then Brave Academy was for you. Inside, we don't just throw tools at the problem. What we start with is recalibrating your entire nervous system. I teach you how to shift out of fight or flight. I guide you through the process, expand your emotional tolerance, and build real inner safety and trust. And when your nervous system is grounded, life doesn't just feel doable, it feels good. You've probably heard me say, if you've listened to multiple episodes, you've probably heard me say, life does not have to feel this hard, because I felt like life was hard and I felt like it had to feel hard. Decisions get clearer. You get more in touch with your intuition. You trust yourself more. Emotions don't feel so overwhelming. You're able to hold space for everything that you want to, all the emotions. And the days just feel lighter. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed lately, start with breath, shrink the moment, drop those plastic balls on purpose, and remind yourself this isn't failure. I'm honoring myself. And if you're ready to stop coping and start healing, join me inside of Brave Academy. Send me a DM on Instagram or on Facebook with the word Academy, and we can talk through to see if it's the right fit for you. And until next time, I'll see you then.